Greetings and/or salutations, and welcome back to Imbibe Cinema. I'm Jonathan C. Leggett, along with my co-hosts,
Michael Newens,
Trisha Leggett.
In this episode, we're going to be discussing Amy Poehler's Wine Country, currently available on Netflix, while imbibing the fruity white wine cocktail. This recipe is on our website, which is imbibecinema.com. It is Moscato and gin with some peach schnapps. It's actually quite tasty, even with the juniper. And I say that, and I had relayed this story already to Michael and Trisha, but my first experience with gin was on my 21st birthday when somebody gave me a Tom Collins, and I can only liken the experience to going down on a Christmas tree.
Sounds painful.
It's a very specific, John.
Yeah, I mean, it tasted like you were just licking a pine cone, or specifically like one of those pine air fresheners that you stick in your car. It was not a pleasant experience.
See, now here with this drink, we are having it in a wine glass, you know, to embrace
it's wine country.
Yes,
Right, of course.
This, I think, for the first time is when I really realized that the glass itself, how it holds in
Aromatics.
Yes, and it is potent, and I don't like it. But I'm going to commit to it, like any woman who makes a plan, sticks to it, and is happy about it anyway.
Okay, Amy Poehler.
I think it embraces the film that we were. And you know what? I did pick the drink. I did.
I think it's quite tasty.
I'm not old
it's
enough
funny.
for gin.
I'm a beer drinker, as you guys
Oh,
know.
yeah.
So really the only time I drink liquor
Is
is
us.
with you guys during this podcast. And I've
pressure.
learned that actually there's a lot that I'm pretty good with. And apparently I'm good with gin.
Well, as long as it's cut.
As long as it's a cut gin.
You and I maybe during the break we'll just take a straight shot of gin. And we'll see.
Oh, let's
we'll
do
see.
that.
Yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
then I'll know
Was
like
it
my
the
real age.
cocktail
Am I
or-
like an old soul if I can down the gin?
really suddenly like gin?
Because old people do shots
Yeah.
of gin.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
I mean, why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's also, I think, very cool, very hip, very gangsta. If you drink gin, right? Gin and juice.
Gin martinis, gin juice.
It makes you kind of a badass.
Yeah. Although I will
I
state,
feel like a
Or an
badass
old
now.
lady, one or the other.
See, I was going to say
neither.
during the break we might also pull out a game of bridge or canasta. Put on an Afghan. The Imbibe Cinema podcast is brought to you by the Blue Whiskey Independent Film Festival, otherwise known as BWIF. Our festival seeks independent, character-driven films of all lengths, styles, and genres. To learn more, visit us at bwif.com. All right, Wine Country. This was an absolutely hilarious film, full of extremely quotable and real moments. And one thing that I found absolutely fantastic is not only did you have your normal front of the camera SNL ladies, but you also got a couple of the people who had been on the writing staff at the same time, specifically Paula Pell and Emily Spivey, who got to shine a lot in this, and I'm very happy with how this film turned out.
I agree. I'm sad that we have not seen more of them prior to this.
Paul has actually been doing a lot of work specifically.
I know.
She does a lot
This is
of
her
voice
moment in
work.
the sun. This
Oh,
is her, like,
Yeah,
she's come out of hiding or something.
Yeah.
She's dynamite. She's everywhere.
Yeah, she's killing it on AP Bio, and she's done a lot of voice work before that. But Emily, this she has not done a whole lot in front of the camera per se, but she's actually one of the writers of this film, along with Liz Kukowski. And for both of them, this was kind of their first feature written. A lot of them, both of them, have done a lot of television up to this point. Obviously SNL, and then all sorts of other television episodics. But this was really kind of their first, especially joint feature film that was written by them. So
Right. Well, and this is the first. This is the directorial debut.
feature, yep, the feature directorial debut for Amy Poehler, who I thought did an amazing job of not only bringing an incredibly interesting cast together, but also really kind of keeping the story moving and really driving this along.
And it was based, the idea of it, I mean, I heard this in an interview, but the whole thing was based on an actual birthday party trip.
Yeah, apparently a lot of the SNL girls would go on trips like this. This is loosely based on the idea that it's a bunch of girls going out. I think there might be a few tidbits of actual events here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah, there's something about, and I mean, my memory is Swiss cheese at this point, but as I recall, there was something about like they do different theme stuff, different, you know, and it was like one of them was everybody was in a muumuu, something like that, or maybe I just hallucinated that. I don't know.
Just a particular night. I do think
Trisha was just like, "That's a great idea. We should do
Maybe
that."
I've just been
Muumuu
secretly longing for more muumuus in my life.
Yeah, Imbibe Podcast brought to you by Muumuu Night. What I found funny about that same interview, and I think that either was Amy Poehler or it might have been Anna Gasteyer who was on Seth Meyers talking about it. But apparently, Amy's character in it, Abby, is based on Amy Poehler, because apparently she is a planner, and it has apparently upset some of the other girls at points because she over plans and like puts out an itinerary for them all to, you know, follow strictly, and they just kind of want to be, you know, having fun.
Well, and I don't know about you guys, but it felt like there was a different, of all the characters, there were moments of each character that I was like, oh, I'm that person on occasion. Like when Amy Poehler has her whole breakdown about how she lost her job and she's so upset and she's crying and she's like, it's stupid that I'm crying about this because like the world is ending and the climate is changing and there's like one rhinoceros left.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved
and I'm like,
that.
and I'm like, oh my God, I feel your pain. Yes.
Yeah.
Because just a quick thing though about that particular moment, as I was like, whoa, this movie's getting real right now. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I get this, because I get that frustration when you're in a group of friends or, you know, family or whatever, where, you know, somebody in the group, or even it could be half of the group, is kind of like pushing one way, and it's like, you know, just let go.
Yeah.
And so I was like, whoa, this movie's getting real serious. And then all of a sudden, in this very serious moment, she comes out with that stuff, and I was like, I mean, yeah, I guess you're right, but at the same time, I was just like laughing so hard. I was like, oh, that joke snuck up on me.
Yeah.
But it's not a joke. It's real.
It's real. That's the other thing.
Yeah, and then that's again why I found this film so interesting and entertaining, is the fact that none of the characters go to the extreme SNL, like, you know,
even though there are moments that are extreme, but you have like there's some really
real
deep moments. Like there's a point where they talk about Prince, and
Maya Rudolph.
Maya's in a band. They do Princess instead of Prince. They're a Prince cover band, and they like huge Prince fans. In fact, before Prince passed away, he had, you know, given them thumbs up. Yeah, and they have performed all over. Anyway, so huge Prince fans, and they're, you know, talking about it in the hot tub about how you know you're getting old, or when your idols are dying. And it's kind of like, whoa, that kind of set in. Because, I mean, last year or two, I mean, there's been a lot, even more than that. There's been a lot of people who passed on. Like, was it 2016? 2016 was like the celebrity death.
Chaos.
Anytime somebody brought up someone famous's name, you're like, oh, no, them too. They died too. And then 2017 was like, oh, no, you're a predator too.
In fact, I think in 2017, more often than not, you were going, God, I hope they just died.
Tangent aside. The idea that, you know, we've gotten to that point where, you know, the people we looked up to are going. And that's a wake-up call in a kind of a sense. That's a different perspective.
So obviously the big thing is this is Rachel Dratch's 50th birthday party, or Rachel Dratch's character, Rebecca's 50th birthday party. And so the girls are all circling the wagons and going out on a thing. And I do like specifically that Rachel Dratch's character is in denial.
Oh, yeah. Let's not make it about me this weekend.
Yeah. Let's just make it a party, and then I'll just kind of ease into 50 during it, you know.
How they met.
Oh, yes.
They all worked at this pizza place.
Chicago
and
Pizzeria.
What I think is kind of cool about it is, I mean, they don't really talk about all of their ages, but it's like a range of ages.
Right.
And it makes sense why, you know, they formed this bond, and yet, there are clearly some people who there's probably, I mean, I don't know how long the range is, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's somewhere between, 10, 15 years from the oldest to the youngest. Yeah. But 50 is probably the oldest person there, I would have guessed, because otherwise, why wouldn't we have done this already?
True.
Well, I mean, this could just be her 50th specifically.
Right. But what I'm saying is it's like, oh, we're celebrating her big, the way that they keep approaching it, it seems like she's the oldest.
She's the first to go through. Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, like Emily's character, I love Emily's character is that whole like, I'm probably not going to go. Oh, it sounds great. I'm really excited. I'm not going to go.
There's a part of me.
Right.
That is that.
Right? And
the time.
It's just like there's so much work involved in actually going to do something. I'm just not going to go.
Have fun. I'm not going.
Like, we didn't even think that she was going to come. I didn't think I was going to come.
Yeah. Did you only book a 4-room place because or 5-room because you didn't want me to come? It's like, no, I didn't even think she was going to come.
And then like the whole weekend, she's like, why am I here?
Yeah. And that's Anna Gasteyer, who is the workaholic, who is one of those people. And this is my character, the Anna Gasteyer character, the one who is so absorbed with work and with their own personal things that they have stopped being invited to the girls' weekends or to any other big things because every time you reach out to this person and you go, hey, let's hang out, they are too busy to hang out, and so eventually you stop calling. And so she feels out of it because of that particular thing. Now, the cinematographer was Tom McGill, who has done The Office, Parks and Rec, Angie Tribeca, and to a degree, there was obviously that familiarity for Parks and Rec.
The one part that actually stood out for me cinematography-wise was the party where they have the first night where they're like, we're going to have a dance-off because we're not going to do drugs, except for the ones we're already on.
Yes.
We're totally against
which
drugs.
is things you say when you're, things we say now.
Things we say now. And they had, they do the list of songs, and it's Emily and Amy that are
they're in almost an extreme close-up with two of them in it.
Right. So it's like half of one face, half the other on either, like bordering the screen. And I thought it was a really cool look. It felt very intimate and silly and fun. And then during the dance sequence, there's this very last minute, like, when the camera moves just past Paula and then it cuts out and you're like, did I just see boobs? Like, it was just that quick. And I was like, well played. Very classy.
I think that it was shot beautifully. I think that, they did a great job of the locations. Obviously, that was one nomination that they had gotten from specifically California Locations Award. But
they have such a high regard for Napa.
Well,
you can tell. It comes through in the film.
Yeah, actually.
There's like enough of this wine bullshit.
Yeah.
This is really good. Drink. What's this one called?
What I love, because they're all
white
very
wine.
I've never been to Napa, but I feel like that is not even an exaggeration at all. I am certain that is exactly how each of these
wineries.
What do you call them? Yeah, what
vineyard?
Are they
sommeliers?
Sommeliers. Yeah, thank you. I'm like, it starts with an S.
Yeah.
Very fancy.
Fancy. I'm sure that's exactly how they are. And how they're slightly different too. Like they have their own little characters to them.
Yeah.
But they're very passionate about what they're talking about, and they expect people who show up to be equally passionate about that. But what I think is funny, especially, was the one in the vineyard, how she's just like, it's like she can't read the room.
No.
Not at all. Like,
anybody know what we call these? Anybody? No.
You could tell us.
Cannons. They're, I like to call them wine crystals?
Wine diamonds.
Wine diamonds, thank you.
We learned a lot about wine.
Yeah. Can we just rush this up? Can we move on? Thank you. The other thing I liked is the gentleman at the place prior to that they're talking to.
So annoying.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, not over the top, just like a normal. I feel like that's probably what would happen, but like the moment where they're all like, "All right, let's pound this," and he's like, "Well, actually, really, you're supposed to just take your time with that,
sip and enjoy it." Yep.
Yeah, no, there was the other thing was when they get cornered by the organic lady because they're walking through the vineyard.
Yeah.
And it's this whole moment of like, you're not supposed to be out here. We put up a sign. Oh, look, there's one right
Yep.
next to me.
Yeah.
You should come out now.
Facing it the
we're
wrong
so
way.
sorry. We're sorry. We'll go, you know. And then as soon as she leaves, they're like, meh, 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 meh. And then
Yeah.
as soon as she comes back, they're like, oh my God, you're back.
Well, and that's the thing.
I've done that.
The comment about like it's facing the wrong way.
Yeah.
I loved that because to me that was like a sheer moment of improvisation.
Yep.
Like, I would be shocked if that moment specifically was not
Yeah.
improvised. And I feel like there's obviously lots of improvisation
Yeah.
throughout the whole film, but that's one of those moments where it's like, well, yeah, it's, you know, the production designer knew that the shot was going to be from this angle, so it probably is only one-sided, even though it could have been double-sided.
Or yeah.
But the actress just called them out
Yeah.
and just said it's on the wrong side.
See, I don't even think the production. To me, now, granted, you know, we can't really get into Keith P. Cunningham's head or find out whether or not in that particular vineyard he had any control over the actual production.
True.
To me, they were probably shooting not guerrilla, but that might actually be how the sign is in that vineyard, and Amy probably just called it out, just being like, look, great, you're pointing that out, but you know, how the hell would I have known that if I were, you know? So, you know, there's that, and then one thing that I found very entertaining, obviously, when we talk about all the supporting cast, even though Liz Kakowski was the sommelier for the organics
Yes.
of Vineyard, and also the writer. Allison Jones, who was the casting director also for Booksmart, which we've already done a podcast on. I know, see? It comes full circle. So she obviously, you know, hit up all the supporting cast, because I can guarantee that Amy probably just reached out directly to her main cast without fail. And in fact, actually, other things that I found interesting when it comes to the crew is Julie Monroe was the editor for this film. And the clip on this was absolutely fantastic. But what I found fascinating about Julie's IMDb page is her editing credits include Transformers Last Night, The Patriot, the Mel Gibson movie,
Wow.
and Lolita.
That's a range.
That's like a summary. That's not all of them, right?
No, that's not all of them.
Okay.
But again,
It's like, ooh, that's spaced
you
out.
look at just the ones that she had been working on. And
Yeah.
like there is not a style that you could say she lands in. So she's
likes to
managed
mix it
to
up.
edit Michael Bay and Amy
That's
Poehler.
already an amazing
Right.
achievement.
It's true.
It's just editing out other cameras,
yeah.
isn't it? I mean, it's the whole
Yes,
job.
that's-
Must
yeah.
be the whole job.
Just finding camera. All right, next cut or next angle.
I have
So,
about 30 hours of just explosions that I've got to go through.
nope. That too much flame on this one. Nope.
This isn't even the right movie. What is it?
That's actually not very far off from the truth, by the way, too, but that's a topic for another
Oh,
day.
Jesus. Let's see. Other characters specifically to call out. Jason Schwartzman from...
What's in Devon? Is that his
Yeah, he's Devon.
Oh my God, what a name! When you say Devon, you're like, oh, I expect somebody interesting.
Devon.
Just
Okay.
like Chad.
Devon. Yeah. But no, he...
Was the cuttlefish is that what he's...
but yeah, it was
So
squid, and there's like, no, but
cleaning-
this one's a cuttlefish. Yeah, you can
And
tell.
he's like
'cause
cuddling with the fish basically
Yeah.
the entire time.
The amount
Just,
of
like,
time
so
he touches
beautiful.
that fish.
making a paella. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, also, fun fact. Evidently, during one of the birthday party or one of their gatherings, maybe the one it's based on, I'm not sure. They did have some local chef put together.
Well,
a
yeah.
paella.
A paella
Yeah.
specifically.
Oh.
And so again, I think that there's elements to this. I don't think it's necessarily based on one particular as much as like the collection of all of their outings.
It's a lot of paella, though, that went to
Yes,
waste.
Jesus. I
Also,
know.
Nobody ever got to eat the paella.
Does it take more than 12 hours to cook
Well,
a
and why are you
paella?
stirring it with like an oar? Like, that's gross.
Because you're Devon.
Because you're Devon.
It's the paella oar.
Yeah.
I just love that he keeps trying to get involved in the music.
Oh yeah.
And because they
Or in
have
general.
a very specific jam that they listen to.
That's right. How about this? No.
No.
This? No.
No.
What is it? Would this really shape my life? Don't care.
Yeah.
Nothing more recent than Hey Ya.
Yes.
Well, and what
Very
do they call
specific.
them? DUI
It is, too.
songs or their DUI list or something like that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the DUI list.
Is this the music that they would expect to get pulled over?
I don't remember.
Oh God, I can't remember what the heck they called it or why they called it the DUI list.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean that makes sense.
But one of the things is the film is full of little things that are inside jokes to them because they've known each other forever. Mm-hmm. And they don't necessarily explain everything, which is great because you don't need that.
No,
and just to know that they have a group.
Yeah,
we have a little bit of their own language.
Yeah.
Well, we even
say now.
We even have that moment when Catherine is like, "Oh, I fell asleep before that. Is there what inside jokes do I need to know about?"
Yes,
like this. Fill me in. One moment I would like to talk about that kind of brings me back to our first podcast with Michelle Buteau. I think I'm saying her name correctly, who played Veronica in Always Be My Maybe.
Yes.
That
extreme awkward
pause, and how this movie did it entirely differently. It was like the same kind of bit, but played like a 180. And what I loved about it, first of all, it was also like maybe 30 seconds longer. And what I loved about it was like, it wasn't necessarily for a laugh, I felt.
No.
I mean, you ended up laughing because it's just so uncomfortable, even like by myself. And I was watching the movie by myself. But what I loved about that moment was I was like, really, she could go either way with this. Like at any moment, she could be like,
pure disgust.
Get the fuck out of here, Devin. Or she could be like, sure.
Right? And you feel like you're actually helping her decide.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, no, it's not a good don't. Oh, well, I guess
she played it so well.
And I love that you don't even necessarily see her like make the decision. It's still the same deadpan, like, seriously, you just asked that question, and then it's,
and
yeah,
then
okay.
I am thinking about it. I am thinking about it.
Right?
But not really.
But then he's like chewing on his nails and it's like scratching his beard. And the more he does, the more you're like, you don't want to go there, honey. Don't do it.
I slept with Devin. I also slept with
Devin.
He truly comes with the house.
Mm-hmm. We're going to take a few more moments to fill our glasses with some more gin and get ready to imbibe more after this.
Hey there, listener. This is Michael with Imbibe Cinema and the Blue Whiskey Independent Film Festival. Did you know that Imbibe Cinema isn't just a podcast? We've also got a variety of articles and reviews available to read on our website, plus a streaming membership that gives you access to a new batch of independent films every month. Become an Imbibe Cinema member today at watch.imbibecinema.com. That's watch.imbibecinema.com. Thanks for supporting and imbibing the various content we offer. Now, back to the show.
You're listening to Imbibe Cinema. I am Jonathan C. Leggett, and I am along here with
Michael Newens,
Trisha Leggett,
and we are discussing Wine Country. Is this your favorite episode so far? Want to hear more? Please subscribe or follow us on all of your favorite podcast providers to get all of our new episodes as soon as we release them. Rate and or leave us a review to help the show reach a larger audience. And you can also follow us at Imbibe Cinema on Facebook. So this was clearly written by some witty and funny people. But one of the major things that I know Michael and I, or we had wanted to discuss in general, was knowing this cast, one has to ask how much of this film was improvised.
Yep.
So many good lines. You know, you like, once you look into the eyes of a raccoon, that's when you truly know your inner self, your true self. It was like, Jesus.
I completely forgot about that scene.
Oh, God.
The seriousness, the gravity with it. It was like, I've seen God.
The paw prints.
The window did it for me. Like, I lost.
It was the dad. How do you know it was the dad? I could tell.
Yeah. He was the leader.
He was the leader. They have so many beautiful moments, and you know, I mean, we know like Curb Your Enthusiasm and films like that, or episodes like that, or shows like that, have a theme or a scene synopsis that they want to get certain bits of information out, but at the same time they then just let the actors go. Whereas I do feel that part of this was pretty well scripted.
I would think it was scripted, and then, you know, people got takes where they could improvise or just add it on the fly. The Harrison Ford, I know, and then
yes,
we've done this 100 times, and I give up.
I know. Yeah, easily the best response to "I love you."
Yeah, I know.
of all time.
And
it was,
cut.
That's it.
Let's move on.
yeah.
So talking about the story.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So true
And
confession.
improv. Okay, go
Yes,
ahead.
I'm gonna have my confession.
Oh, the big confession.
Yes.
Ooh,
I'm gonna have faith that nobody I know listens to this. Okay. So
I'm gonna cry myself to sleep.
moment of honesty, folks. So I'm watching this movie. Two things. One, Paula's new knees. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Taking her knees out for a spin.
Let me show you how great
Yes.
these
All
bad
right, so
boys
here's
are.
the
Something
here's
like
the setup. Watching the knees in the beginning when she's like, they're like, "How you doing? How you doing, Val?" Because they're walking and it's longer than they anticipated to get to the restaurant. And she's like, "No, I love it. My new knees. Watch this." And she runs ahead of them and she like jumps up, hits a sign, does it like tucks and rolls, like leaps
cartwheel.
over, like leaps over another sign. She's just, and it's hysterical. It just, oh my God, cracked up. Loved it, right? So you establish that she's now a gymnast with these new knees, right? And then later in the movie, we almost forget about that later in the movie, and they're at the top of the hill.
Climax.
And they're at the top of the hill, and it's like, no, I've got to go down the hill, and she's like, I'm going to save you. I'm going to use my knees.
Yeah.
You think that she's going to ninja herself down this hill, and it's just awful.
Yeah. We're talking Princess Bride
Right?
rolling down the hill.
She goes from like ninja to old lady and like that.
Yeah.
And just in that moment, which I think is a nice way of looking at the whole film, because they start out so young, and then they acknowledge, okay, we're not that young, and then it's like the longer the film goes on, the more we acknowledge, okay, we're really older than that. We're getting older than that. And so when it's like, yeah, I could do all this cool stuff with my knees, and now, oh my God, she falls on the hill. I laughed so hard.
How hard did you laugh?
I peed.
Yep.
It was terrible. I wet my pants. I laughed so hard.
Oh my.
Yes,
yeah.
I did. What has given me this bravery to be honest and open about this
Is that she doesn't think anybody's listening.
No, actually, not that at all. It's an actress, Kimmy Schmidt.
Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, and that's
yes.
Ellie Kemper.
She was on an interview, and she talks about, like, sometimes when she laughs really hard, she loses control of her bladder.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, thank you. I
guys
thought I
are
was a
like-
freak, but no, thank you, woman, thank you. So I can be brave too and say, I laughed so hard I peed. I did.
She gave you the courage.
She did.
Wow.
Made
To
me
admit
brave.
that you peed yourself. I'm trying to
Oh
think.
my God, it was so funny.
Believe me, this movie was pretty outlandish. But I'm trying to think if I've ever had a movie experience where I've peed myself from laughing, and sadly, I cannot say that I have
Show off.
I have never peed.
from laughing ever. Are you real backed up?
Poorly placed pause. I have never laughed so hard I peed.
The gin talking.
What a great.
Oh, speaking of random things,
John's gonna steal
the
it.
things we say now,
Yoink.
bit the CPAP machine.
Oh yes.
Fun fact, that is Amy Poehler's CPAP machine.
Amy
She brought her
Poehler
own
uses
to set.
CPAP?
Yeah, she brought her own.
Fascinating.
Well, it was
Yeah.
method, I'm sure. She brought it home. She worked with it. She got comfortable with it.
Wow, that's
I know that has become a newer thing is people addressing their sleep apnea and stuff like that. I mean, again,
Well,
it was
yeah, because
something
the
that wasn't
old-fashioned
even
way,
known
the
once
old-fashioned way is to think, oh my God, a demon is sitting on my chest and squeezing life out of me. I am going to die. And then going, oh, wait a minute. I gotta breathe now. Oh, okay. Wow. When my brain is like lack of oxygen is there, the first thing that comes to my mind is diagnosis with Catholicism. and then as soon as I take a deep breath of air, I go, oh my God, I wasn't breathing.
our Catholic upbringing did a number on you.
Amen. So back to wine. Okay, so another thing, as we're getting personal, I just want to say I can't drink wine. I love wine. I know it's supposed to be a girl drink.
Yeah. And that's
a
one
lot of my
reason you
girlfriends
had
drink
to make
it.
us do a cocktail.
Right. And it's because it gives me a headache that lasts for like days.
Oh my God.
As much as I love wine, even like drinking one glass and having like 3 bottles of water.
I didn't know that.
I know, oh my God. And it's sad because I love Chianti and I just can't have it anymore.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny you say Chianti, and I immediately, thank you. I immediately
The fact
think
that I can
of,
do that,
you know,
I'm actually...
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Fava beans.
That's why I love it, obviously.
Yeah, Trisha loves the taste of human flesh.
I opened the door trying to be funny and now I'm creepy. But as far as stories go, I mean, yeah, it's, a crazy weekend. A bunch of people get drunk and all kinds of funny things happen. We've seen films like this before.
Yeah.
The
And yeah,
Hangover.
to me, this one had a lot of heavy
Yeah,
stuff underneath it.
Each
You know,
character is dealing with something. Maya Angelou.
that gin is powerful.
Maya Rudolph. Maya Rudolph is dealing with. She's had a mammogram,
Right.
and she is concerned that she may or may not have breast cancer, and she's afraid to answer or to call the doctor back. Anna Gasteyer is, a workaholic who feels ostracized by her friends. Paula Pell is, a people pleaser who is trying to find love, but is more concerned with other people's feelings than her own. Rachel Dratch is a psychiatrist whose husband is a complete and utter jackass. And like
Brian is
every
so-
Brian,
good.
oh, good.
God, I
Oh
hate
no, it's
Brian.
finally out. Brian is an asshole. All right, good.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody.
Thank
Like
God.
every character
How
kind
supportive.
of yeah,
Right?
I know.
I mean, really, he's so
No.
supportive.
Well, no, I just love that none of them,
Say
none
it
of them
until
has ever said it. Oh no, we love him. He's
And-
great.
or showed even a sign of it, really, from
Yeah.
at least
They
her
just,
reaction.
No, they just vent to each other behind her back.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's awful.
And that's I think what made this
Good friends.
They're such good friends. Tina Fey's character specifically is calling out the fact that, like, okay, you're in Napa. Anything that is said over this weekend, know that most likely that's always been their feeling. They're just, the wine has finally let it out.
It's just
Oh,
the
yeah.
alcohol
They-
letting it out.
so-
Oh
and
my
if
God.
anybody starts
Such a
a
great line.
sentence with, it's not. I'm only saying. It's. Let
Can
me
I-
just
can
say.
I-
Can I just say?
Can I just
Yeah.
say something here?
That
Feedback.
yeah.
Give you some feedback.
Yeah, and Rachel Dratch is the only one who uses "Can I give you some feedback?" and that's because she's a therapist, and that's
Yes.
specifically how she addresses that particular type of thing. But I love that every character is dealing with their own shit,
Yes.
their own level of stuff, and like any
And
true
burying
friends, they're trying not to let it address this weekend. They're trying not to let their own emotions, but at the same time, it comes
as you get
flooding
older,
out.
it is harder and harder to get a group of people together
Yeah.
to hang
I can
out
only imagine how
and to
much
be
that
able
took.
to have that moment
That
where you
whole-
can just have fun.
That whole
and
opening
forget.
credits sequence shows you, as funny as it is, it shows you how difficult it is.
But there's that
Yeah.
that comes with time, right? And the fact that you have friendships, that a group of friends that stands the test of time, that is all over the country, and doesn't get together often, and that like any group of friends, you have members of those groups that are closer
Yep.
Yeah,
to each
of
other,
course.
and then
Perfect.
so that and but I mean, when you're young, it's like, oh my God, what are you doing tonight? You want to hang out?
Oh, yeah.
And then it becomes, hey, what's up next week? And then it becomes, how's March looking for
Yeah.
you guys? Can we put something down on paper? Because I'm booking up, and
And
that's
then
like
as
6
soon as
months
March
in
rolls
advance.
around, oh, I forgot I actually had something.
Yeah. The beginning of the movie, when I started watching the movie, it seemed like everybody that they came in contact with was trying to prepare them for the fact that they're not as good of friends as they actually think they are.
You're right.
Yeah.
There was a lot of references to that. Even, when Lady Sunshine, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
When she shows up, she's like, well, we'll see how long that lasts, And Tina Fey makes reference to it as well.
Right, and then I think it's
a
Amy.
husband or somebody
Right.
says,
Emily's husband.
yeah, like something about crying.
This is already 3 days longer than it needs to be. It's only a 3-day trip.
But it was right.
Oh,
But
I
it was
get it.
before that. There was something like there was some reference. I don't think we actually heard him say it, but like some comment about.
Yeah, she's relaying it.
Yeah, something about it being negative, like, oh, it's not actually a good, happy, exciting reunion.
Because a bunch of girls can't get together. There's going to be a cat fight. There's going to be an alpha situation, and they talk about that. They mention that very early. Like, why can't we just hang out? Why does everybody act like we can't just hang out?
Exactly.
It's so weird.
And as a viewer, I felt like it was like the outside world that was saying you're not as good of friends as you actually are. And I was like, oh, this is a really interesting take on that.
And then speaking of the outside world, when you get to the millennial intervention.
Oh, yeah. The nanny fine.
Oh, my God. That was
We're
weird.
fine. Fran fun.
Oh, it's part of the show.
It's part of the show.
So mad.
No.
Could you come back for future shows?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So, like, you're just angry at us? No, not angry. But you guys can get porn real easy. Do you know how hard it was before the internet?
Yes.
And you're so confident. I spent my whole life hating myself.
Yeah.
And it makes me angry.
That was one of the most beautiful moments. Just
oh my God,
everything.
Emily's delivery on that was perfect.
Everything you would ever want to say to a millennial, you're just like, oh yeah, that's right.
When Kate Thompson on Saturday Night Live did the whole millennial versus, I think it was baby boomer game show, and it was hysterical. And he's like, and like a Gen Xer, I'm just going to stand here and not care.
Yeah. Yeah,
really,
but it is kind of true
funny.
that we've just been noted as being the observers.
Especially on Jen.
I'm not observing anything on Jen.
God.
This is not.
Who
this
made
is not
Jen?
Casual
Jen is awful.
observation.
No offense to anybody
I think
who's
it's tasty.
Tanqueray, good
when
job.
it's not by itself.
Yeah, it's a great mixer.
Uh-uh.
I don't know what it would be like to mix that with olives, though.
Because that is the thing,
No,
is like gin and olives.
No.
So
Dirty
like a
martini.
You could do a vodka martini or you can do a gin martini. And to me, Christmas and olives, I don't think I'm sold on.
No. And you know what? I spent so much of my childhood trying to like
Gin?
olives.
Oh.
Keep it at a dull roar there. You'll make me pee my pants. So, anyways, no, but I spent a good deal of my childhood trying to like olives, especially, obviously green olives are used in alcoholic drinks, and I watched a lot of old movies as a child because I had no friends. And so I really wanted to drink martinis because they were all the rage in all the movies.
Sure.
And I was like, okay, I'll start by, having olives because I can't, make a martini. I'm a child. So I was like, I will do that. And it took me years, and I love olives. I did not like them initially. I love them. And then I finally got a martini and I was like, this is terrible. But if you have a dirty martini and it's like 90% olive juice, then I'm like,
extremely dirty.
This is good.
Yeah. Yeah. So one thing I know we've kind of already discussed cast and crew. We've kind of already discussed characters, but I find it funny that like we've hit on Tina Fey, but we haven't really delved into the fact of Tina Fey's character.
She wasn't one of the main crew because of her schedule.
Was that specifically?
Yes.
Okay, so you were
yes.
you found that, all right.
Right. And so they did this where they had her be the owner of the property.
The lonely groundskeeper
who
knows everyone.
Yeah. And you only have 2 moments where you actually see her interact with anybody else in town.
Yep.
And it's like, your password is still this. Your Wi-Fi password is still this. And the bartender was like, yeah. And then she talks about how like the receptionist at the hospital, like, how's the chess team going with your kid? Like, she knows these really oddly specific things about people, and yet she doesn't have
She's
friends.
lonely. Yeah,
right.
She has no friends.
She's not friends with anybody. Yeah. Well, and she was perfect for the character she played.
Beautiful.
I felt like that was perfect.
Right. And they got the, I think the wardrobe they talked about, her wardrobe came from somebody they actually, location scouting, somebody they actually talked to, and they're like, okay, we're taking this and we're making it part of the film.
that's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Oh, hey, we're going to poke the bear?
Oh, yeah. Let's poke that bear. So our first review here is from Cinema Blend, and they said, it just won't hold the audience over throughout. And fans of the female SNL icons will be disappointed. I love these moments where you guys are internalizing, and you both take air
A
in
deep-
at the
a deep
exact
breath.
same time.
Yeah.
It's like I'm trying to be patient with another human being. I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, granted, I can understand those people who like Bridesmaids as an SNL cast film. This was not a Bridesmaids. This was much more a coming of age, but not the age
Oh,
that
I like
normally.
that.
Yeah, it's not
Coming
the-
of age film.
Yeah,
That's what it
it's
is.
a coming of age film,
and it's
not a normal coming.
well,
of age.
and I'm sorry. How many movies are made about women of a certain age?
Yeah.
And how many movies about women of a certain age have more than one fucking woman in the film?
Yeah, that's also true.
Sorry.
What I would say too about this is it's a movie, and I've talked about this a little bit, but it's a movie that continually surprises you as you watch
Yeah.
it. And I mean, that's why I wanted to bring up improvisation. I don't think it was the improvisation that actually changed the course of the film. It was very good writing. But it's a movie that you think you know what's going to happen, and
It pleasantly surprises you at every turn.
yes,
What I commented on almost at the beginning of this entire podcast was the sheer fact that at no point is this them going to the nth. They're not going beyond.
This isn't
They are as real as this
sketch,
humanly
crazy,
possible.
Exactly. No. Yeah.
over the top, which I'm sorry is not something I would see in a film, because that kind of stuff doesn't have the endurance to go for a full feature. When it goes crazy,
And
it's very hard to keep that for.
and that's also what makes it a coming of age film, is they are coming of the age of 50. And that's why I think that this is such a beautiful film.
Oh, it's a wonderful film, and I'm sorry that Simma Blend isn't old enough to understand it.
Slate says, a waste of talent that makes Wine Country even more forgettable than its jokes.
Oh, they say like wine.
Or jokes.
Go ahead.
Chicago Reader.
You're shitting me.
Of course.
How the...
Chicago Reader says only 3 words. And I'm confused by these 3 words.
It only says 3 words, or does it lead up to saying
Their
only
entire
3
review
words?
is 3 words.
Well, it's not their entire review.
Oh.
It is Rotten
synopsis.
Tomatoes.
Distilled to...
This is the summary of their review.
Mm-hmm.
A curious letdown.
Well, that's kind of how I feel about Chicago Reader every time I read their stuff.
Dude. See, there's this.
Well, let's just clink our glasses, please.
I'm going to clink your glass. We greatly appreciate all of our listeners for choosing this podcast and specifically for supporting independent films. Keep your ears out for the next episode, and to check out our show notes or drop us a note, please visit us at imbibecinema.com. Once again, I'm Jonathan C. Lecken. Thank you again for imbibing with us. Cheers.